So I guess without further ado, we could jump into some of our favorite options here. I'll pull them all up at once. Some names do kind of cross-pollinate between our list, but these are just some guys that we're keeping an eye on in the second round with our pick. Matt, I guess I'll throw it to you first, then we'll go to Bean, and then I'll hop back to me. But what are your thoughts on what you'd like to see the Jets do in the second round, and how does the first round dictate your decision in the second round? If at all.
I'm glad you teed it up that way, because that's how I was going to start, is saying this is really dependent on what happens in round one. So I wanted to give a variety of options for my guys. Now, there's a lot of, ironically enough, Ryan texted Green Bean and I this afternoon and was like, hey, send me 3 guys for who you'd like in the second round. And I was like, perfect, because I'm literally editing, as he texted me, a video where I went through like 11 different guys on day 2 that I like. So I'm like, all right, I'll pick some of my favorites, but I'll spread them around. So do you want me to do each one of my guys and why they're here, or how do you want me to do this?
Sure. Yeah, you can kind of go through it. I mean, if you want to give what your thoughts are maybe on the first round to how that could possibly shift based on, the list you have here, or, if you want to go one by one on each of the guys and give like the if this then that for the second round, however you see fit.
Okay. So in my opinion, the first, and this is all subject to change, right? 9 days out, still a little bit of time, but I have a very strong feeling that the pick is either going to be Armand Membou or Tyler Warren. So an offensive tackle or a tight end. And I've made it very clear that I like both options. I think you really can't make a wrong choice there. I think on the Jet side, you can make a strong case for them just finishing the offensive line. You have 4 of the 5 guys finished already. If they view Membou as someone who could come in and start right away at right tackle, and maybe that they don't think the same about guys on day 2 or on day 2 of the draft or day 3, then fine, so be it. And then that's why I listed Mason Taylor here, right? Because I think tight end is a really big need. So if you are foregoing drafting Tyler Warren, then I think you have to pivot and find someone that you really like on day 2. Of the day 2 guys, I think Mason Taylor is the one that I like the best, and I think the one who would end up going in round 2, which was for this exercise. But if they do take Tyler Warren, which I do think is a strong possibility, and we've discussed it a lot, other positions of need, sure, offensive tackles. You guys listed offensive tackles too, so we'll talk about some of your guys, but Jack Besh at wide receiver is a player that I really like a lot, out of TCU. He was down at the Senior Bowl, had the game-winning catch in the Senior Bowl game itself. And while he's not necessarily like the biggest or the fastest, whenever I watch him, I just feel like he's always open. He's a guy who just finds the open area in zone, however that may be. And I like his ball tracking when it's in the air. I think he does well deep down the field because of his ability to track passes. So I like that aspect from him. And if you just want to go, fuck it, let's build the trenches, man, I don't know if we can be upset with an Armand Membou, Tyleik Williams 1-2 punch. Now, yeah, I'd be a little bit nervous about the playmakers at wide receiver and tight end, but if you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, what their blueprint is having a stellar offensive line and stellar defensive line. And in that scenario, okay, you land Membou to fill out right tackle, then let's add a beefster next to Quinnen Williams and Tyleik, who, for my money, is one of the best run-stopping defensive linemen in this class. So those are why, I guess, depending on what they do in the first round, why in round 2, these would be 3 guys that stand out. Obviously, there's more, and it's, again, dependent on how the draft board falls. But if the Jets are walking away with any of these 3 guys in the second round, I'm pretty happy.
Bean, how about you? You want to walk us through your 3 guys?
Yeah, well, and number one, I like Matt's list too. I actually had Tyleik Williams on my list, and I decided, I was like, all right, now I'm gonna go a different route. So like the caveat here is like, well, depending on what we do, of course, right? Like, so I gotta say that I will tell you, I think that the Jets are going Tyler Warren in the first. I think the Membou stuff, I think I think we're gonna find out that it was a very effective smokescreen. Not that they don't like him, and not that I'd be upset. I'm not saying anything like that. I just think that's what I'm picking up for whatever reason. I think it's gonna be Tyler Warren, and that would leave us with needing, a tackle and a weapon. Alongside Garrett Wilson. So Tyler Warren he gives you a pass catcher, but I still think we need a wide receiver. So Jaden Higgins, I do think there's a chance that he's a first round pick. I do, but I like him in the second. So 6'4", 4'4", 5-ish. Speed, great hands. I think I don't know. I think he'd be awesome. I did toy with going with the idea, like maybe this staff would want that kind of shifty guy, a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker for the middle. But I like Higgins. I think he's the guy. I would be so excited if like the Jets come out of this first 2 rounds with Tyler Warren and Jaden Higgins. I'd be ecstatic. Now I did throw Mason Taylor on there too. Truth is, I'm not against a double dip at tight end, and I'd love to make it a position of strength. I don't really think it's going to happen that way. I really don't. But I put Mason Taylor up there because he's my absolute favorite outside of Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland. Like those 2 guys, I really like. But the rest of the guys, it's like I think a lot of them are good. But Mason Taylor, I think, has incredible upside, and I think I think he's got the chance to be, maybe the guy who has the most impact from the tight end position this year. So I like him. Now, Josh Connerly, Dom C got me on this guy, if I'm being square. And I think he's kind of like the best kept secret right now. Now, that doesn't mean that NFL teams are just, that they don't know about him. I'm just saying in general, I like, if we don't go Membu in the first, I like the idea of, going tackle. Again, I like wide receiver there, but if we don't go tackle in the first, I like him in the second. If Connerly's there, I think you're getting an equal kind of, potential to be, plug and play and have your, have a really good starting level tackle on your squad. So I like all those guys, and I'd be really happy if any of them were plucked for the second round, in day 2. So there it is. There's my list.
So I agree with you guys on like basically all your players. I'd be tickled pink with any single one of them. I do agree with where Bean is headed. I do think Tyler Warren's going to be the pick at number 7 for a lot of reasons I mentioned in the past. Obviously, the Jets getting Fields' former center, tying a Pro Bowl, accolade to his contract, and then also saying that he's going to push Tittman, at center. So what does that mean for Tittman? Tittman obviously bounces out to guard where he's played well. And then I think that even though they've said AVT is going to stay at guard, I think there's a real shot he's going to be playing tackle for us on the right-hand side. And then it also allows him to possibly get the most amount of money out of it. So I don't think Membu's going to be the pick in the first. And I almost didn't include Mason Taylor on this list just because I do feel that strongly about Warren in the first. But like these guys mentioned, I think Mason Taylor in the second round would be the best tight end you could kind of go with, should the pick be, Membu or something at the top of the draft. So no issues there. I really, really like him as a player. For tackle, I really like the third round tackles, if I'm being perfectly honest, and I'd probably lean more wide receiver here. I did have Besh and I did have Higgins prior to doing this list. I wanted to be a little bit different. Tackle-wise, I figured I'd go with Jonah. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that last name, so I'm not even going to try it. The tackle out of Arizona, he's played guard before. He's played left tackle and right tackle, so he has positional flexibility. That gives you a little bit of maneuverability should something happen with Olu or anything like that. So now you have 3 guys on the line that can play left tackle or right tackle. And then as far as wide receiver goes, similar to what Bean said before, where I'm not sure if the Jets are going to go for the profile of a wide receiver like a Jaden Higgins, that bigger bodied guy, or the short, shiftier guy. So Jalen from Iowa State, the receiver opposite Jaden Higgins, very shifty, very quick, takes the top off of a defense. That's the route I kind of went in this role here. I do like the idea of prioritizing offense in the top half of this draft, especially the first 3 rounds. You know, if the Jets wanted to go with Tyleik Williams, as Match said, I think that's a home run selection as well. The guy's an absolute animal on the interior part of the defensive line. But here I went with the offensive heavy draft. If we weren't to go tackle in the second round and not in the first, Ozzy Trapillo is my guy in the third. I'm hoping he's going to be there. And if he's not, then I'm up Schitt's Creek, and we better hope they have some additional playmakers in there.
What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary from Talkin' Jets. If you liked that video, please make sure to subscribe and follow for more New York Jets content.